Denise Gwen, reading aloud for you from my short story, The Greasy Spoon. Chapter 9. Nick sopped up the last little bit of egg with his toast, dabbed his mouth with a napkin, and edged out of the booth and reached for his ticket as Ed scraped the last bit of grilled cheese sandwich across the inside of the soup bowl. "Come on, let's go," Nick said. "Hey, what's your hurry? We need to get out of here." "What's the rush? I was going to get a top-up of my coffee." "We need to leave now," Nick said in a low voice. "And you didn't finish your bacon," Ed said. "You can have it. Let's go." "Oh, come on. You're being paranoid." Maybe, but we still need to go." Ed craned his neck around to face the farmers. Ed slung his left arm across the seat and smiled at the man seated beside Jeb Jr. The man finally became aware of Ed and nudged Jeb Jr., who in turn gave his dad and the other farmer a pointed look and muttered under his breath, and they left off their quiet conversation and turned to stare at Ed. Satisfied that he had an audience, Ed jerked his thumb at Nick and said, "Can you believe this guy? He says we're in danger from you guys." Jeb Jr. and the farmer beside him glanced at one another and did not smile, then looked at the others. Ed turned back around, laughing, swiped the bacon off Nick's plate and stuffed it into his mouth. He clambered out of his seat and pulled out his billfold. The farmer seated beside Jeb Jr. sipped his coffee. You're in danger, all right." "That's right," Jeb Jr. said. "Danger from the cook's sorry-ass cooking." Ed threw his head back and roared with laughter. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed." He dropped 2 ratty dollars onto the table. "There, that ought to cover the tip." Nick stood at the cash register and jittered and jumped and jived, silently wishing that Irene would hurry the fuck up. But no, she was in no hurry at all. She walked serenely toward him, doing her movie star sashay down the red carpet, a secret smile curving her lips. It was like she knew. He handed her his check and a credit card. She took the card, inserted it into the tiny machine beside the cash register. It whirred to life. A tiny thermal paper receipt sputtered from the machine, and she presented the paper to Nick to sign. He added $10 to the tip. Ed, hovering at his shoulder, chuckled. "Oh, so you're buttering up the waitress, eh?" Nick ignored him. "Hoping you'll get better service next time you come in here, eh?" he chortled. "Why, with a tip like that, my friend, you may get a lap dance next time." "The service was already good," Nick muttered. He looked at Irene as he jerked his chin toward the table of farmers. "Here, let me pay their bill." Irene stared at him for a long moment, then, without speaking, eased over to the booth with the 4 farmers. They'd finished their meal by this time and were lingering over their coffee, and they watched with interest as she silently picked up their tickets and walked back over to the cash register. She held the tickets out to Nick, but he didn't care what their bill was. He simply handed over his credit card again. She ran it through, and this time he added a $40 tip. "Hey," Ed said, elbowing him in the ribs. "Why didn't you buy my lunch, eh?" He grinned at Irene. "At this rate, you're going to end up making more money than me today." "Wouldn't that be nice?" Irene said, her voice thin with anger. "Come on," Nick said, grabbing Ed by the arm and hauling him out the door. "Let's go."